Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here is the spot. Yes, this is the place where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. And today we have a beautiful guest. Look at that. That is McLaughlin. And she is here all the way from now. I got to get my people right. So hold on, my notes. Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
That's it.
Okay. And I've always wanted to come to the Carolinas.
You've got to
What do I have to look forward to when I come down there? Why do I want to come down there?
Oh my goodness, great. Oh my. There's so much here. You've got the mountains. If you're the mountain person, you've got the beach. I'm sandwiched in between the mountains and the beach.
Okay.
And it is, now if you're a sports fan, you like universities, we are surrounded by so many universities, I can't even see straight, and the sports is a bit crazy. I can't say I'm the biggest sports fan, but I do cheer. It's beautiful. Carolinas are beautiful.
That's good. And you have a certain southern gravitas.
A little bit.
No, well, really, I mean, there's a certain charm about North Carolina and South Carolina. What's the difference between North Carolina and South Carolina?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think one will always say that they're better than the other. I don't know about that. The beaches are different. The beaches are definitely different. I have to say I like South Carolina beaches more than I like North Carolina beaches. But hey, if you're a Carolinian, you are beautiful. No,
I'm going to take all that and I'm going to look you up when I come. Now, Brains, we're going to talk about something that intrigued me, sparked my interest. 7 pillars of consciousness.
Yes.
Really? Now, what is that all about? Cooking and being retired, having a wonderful blended family, 9 kids. Who does that? In a beautiful way. You gotta have your head on straight. You really do. And you gotta have a lot of love in your heart. You gotta have a lot to blend a family. You have a blended family as well, and it takes work. It absolutely takes work. And you were a former Pilates teacher.
Yes.
Now, Pilates is all about the core, and we were talking about exercising because I'm back to roller skating. I've encouraged you to do that. But, your core, it does more than just strengthen your body. It strengthens your mind. Your core is also your digestive tract. That's where it's located. You got to have a good gut all the way around. So let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about you, Miss Lauren.
Thank you so much, April, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So yes, you've hit it right on, and, it wasn't always that way with me. So, if we could go way back at a time where I would have been labeled ADHD as a child, had that in my generation been a thing. Now, I am not a fan of labels at all. So you're going to hear me say that possibly, more than once as we talk, because I'm not a fan of labels, but I would have been labeled ADHD back then. So,
let me stop there. Why would you have been labeled ADHD? What symptoms did you have? What characteristics did you have? Were you just busy?
I was busy. I was busy. I was busy. I was busy, but I was always, as a child, I felt different. I wasn't able to sit still. I was made fun of at times for not sitting still. I was, questioned, like, what's wrong with you? And, all these people around me, I know, especially the ones in my family that did that, they loved me, but it was confusing. Like, what's wrong with this girl? She's got so much energy. And I loved sugar. I loved sugar as a child. And so looking back with the field I'm in now, it all started to make sense. So, but we know what happens when when a child, especially in between the years of 0 to 7, which are very important years in our lives, if we're told that we're odd, or you're not sitting still, or you're bad, or shut up and listen, which unfortunately was said often in that generation and where I grew up, those aren't very healthy for your future self-perception, right? They
Right.
can lead to, future, especially when we hit those teen years and the hormones, and you're not moving into those years with a positive self-perception, which was my case. That was harmful. So through that, that was in my forming years, if you will. And I'll tell you what got me was tennis. And I didn't realize it. I love tennis, and I didn't realize it, but I started at a younger age. And it was the rhythm and the cadence of tennis that will always be with me. And you can see it in dance, you can see it in drumming, you can see it in roller skating, anything that has rhythm and flow. It is so healing. So tennis grounded me. Tennis got me through all of those awkward years that were very difficult at times.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the beginning. That was the beginning of my thirst and my love for trying to discover ways to wellness that can help people naturally. So, and then it started within my first child. This is where the ADD came in. My oldest child was diagnosed ADD. And I thought, what is this ADD? Well, the doctor's asking all these questions, and every one of them I could answer. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's me. Oh my goodness, that's me. And I was like,
well, they, attached a description to your son and they said he was ADD. What's that about?
yes, they did. So my oldest son could not sit still. He was not able to sit in a circle. He was sometimes disruptive. He had a burst of energy that was unusual. So the doctor said he has been labeled ADHD. I'd never heard of it. So it was from that moment onward that I became curious. I wanted to know why. So it led me down this path of just research and interest of how can we help move the body and move the mind so that we don't have these so-called labels, and especially one like ADHD. And we know that sugar is it's bad overall, but it just led me to start to look at how we nourish our minds and bodies from what we take in, but also the nourishment from relationships and your environment makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So I was always active, and I would go to the gym and I couldn't stand it. And I can tell you, it was this one day I went in for my first private Pilates session many years ago. I walked out and thought I had died and gone to heaven. I said,
Really?
this,
I thought I had died and went to hell. Girl, I was I was exhausted. It was really intense. It was not a yoga class. It was not a regular stretch class. It was really, really working muscles that I didn't even know I had. So bravo for you. I'm glad you got excited.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It was not easy. And I look back at my first lesson, and I know the instructor very well to this day. And I said, Amy, you had me doing something that looked like it was so simple. And she said, Lauren, that really wasn't even an exercise. I said, I know, I couldn't even get up. I didn't even know what it was. But I did, and I'm not making that up. Like, I really had almost this like outer body experience. I walked out of there and I immediately said, I want more of that. That was amazing. So that led me to get my I did get my master's in Pilates, but I decided to get my certification. And then I furthered that education and got my master's in Pilates. And then that led to even more research. So that is what got me here. And that's where I'm now the co-founder of Conscious 7. And it was all through, it started with tennis and the cadence and the rhythm, and then led me and my son, and then to discovering Pilates and the amazing benefits, just like you said in the very beginning. It's not just about the core. No. It covers the entire mind body. And it's beautiful. Yeah.
So have you incorporated any of this with your son? Has he done Pilates, or has he found something that has really kind of stabilized him?
Absolutely, 100%. And as out of all my children, as I said, we have a lot of kids. He started doing Pilates in high school, and
Mm.
he was amazing, amazing. He even said, "Mom, I think I want to be a Pilates instructor," but he's not. But it helped him. It actually, and he still does it to this day. He still does it.
Oh, because there's a discipline there. And
Yes.
I tell people all the time, my daughter, she was, they tried to attach a description to her,
Yeah.
and they would say, oh, well, when the other kids are, reading time, Chanel's up looking out the window, or she's picking up the turtle, or she's feeding the bird. I said, well, what's wrong? Come to find out, she had a reading challenge. She was dyslexic.
Mhm.
And, they wanted the teachers, well, maybe she should get some medication. No, you want these kids mummified in your classroom so that you can focus on the ones that don't have challenges, the superstars. And then there's the challenged ones. Their parents don't know how to identify and recognize this because they've never been through it themselves, unless they've been through it where you knew some of the signs and some of the symptoms. I knew some of the signs and the symptoms, and I knew my child. So parents, look at that. Look and see if their vision is a problem. Look and see if their hearing is a problem. Observe them at home. Have them read. Get them off the device. Really get into who the child is, and then you can make an assessment, and you can work with your educator or your doctor to find the right solution instead of labeling them. And teach them how to defend themselves from the bullies. I always say that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And, I'm not saying I am anti medication, but come
Oh, I'm
on,
not either. But
parents. Yeah.
it's crazy now. And now, they're doing this medical marijuana. And I'm telling you, brains, it's the weed that it was in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It is being genetically modified.
Yeah.
They're putting steroids on it so it grows faster. They're putting pesticides on it so it doesn't get bugs. So they get it to you. And what plant do you know that does not pollinate and create seeds?
Yeah.
I got some concerns with that.
Yeah.
So, the parents are doing that. They're giving their kids, maybe not the THC, but they're giving them CBD oil and all of this and thinking that it's a magic cure. And it's not.
There is no magic cure. There is no magic cure. It lies within each and every single one of us. We are all a beacon of light. We just have to help guide our children, those that are hurting, to find that inner beacon, because we all have it. And it's not through a magic pill. It's not.
And sometimes it's through talking and just observing. You would find kids don't want to be talked to. They want to be talked with. Yes. And they love discipline. Whether you think, it just depends on how you do it. Because see, I'm a master at messing with your mind. I can trick you up, boy. I can tell you, make you think like, oh my God, did I do that? What's the consequences for my actions and all that? Which is also fun. But I want to talk about, what are these 7 pillars of consciousness? What are they?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to this will lead into that, is that
Perfect.
When you are feeling those moments of, like our kids want to talk, we all want to talk, we all want to be heard, we all want to have conversations. And what I found in Pilates through my years of teaching, because I have conversations with my clients as they are moving in this very disciplined approach, finding their breath, moving their body very, very precisely, they walk out of there going, whoa, what was that drug I just did? It's amazing, because that's what happens when you move your body and your mind together. Whew, it's beautiful. It really works. So yes, that's what led to this conscious 7 approach. So the number 7, it has many, many meanings, but the spiritual meaning of 7, and it doesn't have to be attached to any, religious sector. It just is a spiritual. It means complete. It means perfect. So as I look at it, it is being perfectly imperfect. Okay, because none of us are perfect. We're perfectly imperfect, just as we are, right? But it's this completeness that is missing in our lives today. Everyone's disconnected. We're all reaching for our devices, and we're all looking at social media. I mean, I see every age looking at social media.
Every age.
Every age.
In the grocery store, 2 years old, they're looking at it. And
right.
75-year-olds are looking at it, trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out.
My mother said it was the devil, and she don't have nothing to do with it.
I love your mother. Oh, well, yeah, I know that she's looking down, because I do feel social media is just causing so much harm today. Now, I have young adult children, so I've watched them grow through the social media age, and it has been devastating. And I have watched my children suffer trying to be like everybody else in social media, and wondering why they're not like that, and look what the Joneses have, and all that's creating so much dis-ease in our young minds, but it's also feeding so much dis-ease in our adult minds. So the conscious 7 is that it is finding this completeness to your consciousness, completeness to who you are as a very, very special person, a very special human being.
So how are you putting all of this together? Because everybody's not going to be able to do Pilates. I love you. I'll listen to you. I don't know if I was doing Pilates on those machines too, and they trick you. They make you think that it's really easy. And when you get off that joker, I'll tell you, it's like getting off a pair of roller skates. You are stretched and you are bent. But for the person that doesn't do the Pilates, how are they able to access this consciousness?
Absolutely. So that's why for the longest time, audience, I was trying to leave Pilates out of my new language of teaching. So Joseph Pilates, I have all the respect for you. I'm just trying to carry on what you were trying to build many, many years ago. So he started this in the 30s. That's why I started to keep Pilates out of it, because what we teach at Conscious 7, or what we guide in Conscious 7, is this deeper introspective approach to helping each individual, because we're all unique, we are all different. How you respond to Pilates or how you respond to yoga is going to be different from how I respond to it. So what we help our clients is that we help them discover who they are and how they can tap into their personal makeup to help them move in life the way that's built for them, because it's very different. So yes, there are Pilates inspired movements in the Conscious 7 approach, but it's not all Pilates. We teach all modalities, and we help our clients discover what, if they want to go roller skating, then hallelujah, let's go roller skate, but let's help you roller skate without hurting yourself. Right. Let's help you stay aware while you are doing your running or whatever it is that you're choosing to do. So that's what we do.
So you're incorporating a lot of mindfulness.
Very much so.
So that could be through meditation, that could be through aromatherapy, that could be through just silence. Girl,
all of the above.
I went to a retreat one day, well, not one day, 2 days, and you couldn't talk.
Those are hard. That's hard.
It was. And when you opened your mouth to talk, people would look at you like, you're not supposed to be talking. It was just, it was weird, only because I was so aware. Yeah. I was, all my other senses were heightened. My hearing was magnified. My sense of smell, my sense of taste, touching and reaching and holding someone else's hand, feeling their energy without hearing the words, I love you, I need you, I want you. You had to actually feel the energy. It was so, so powerful. And so even in schools now, they are becoming a lot more mindful. Instead of having the kids disciplined with standards or standing in the corner. Do you remember back in the day when your teacher could get that ruler and paddle those hands or paddle that behind? Mm-hmm. Now they're really incorporating meditation, mm-hmm. Emotional freedom technique, mm-hmm. Other types of things to get into the psyche. And these things are so powerful because these are lifelong tools that you will take with you, and they will expand, and it will make you hungry for even more.
Yeah.
you
You're
know?
exactly right. Exactly right. And I was, going to lead in to say that we are not taught how to bring awareness and self-awareness into our daily living, especially in our public school system. So I'm an advocate on doing exactly what you're just saying, is helping to get to our children and teach them a different way to appreciate self-awareness, because it wasn't taught. Definitely back in my generation, it was just like, once again, shut up and listen and go do this. And we didn't have just rulers. I remember being bent over with a paddle that had holes in it. You know why? I was in the hallway being spanked. I got 3 licks because I was talking in class.
Right. And that's what children, the teacher, I know you don't want your children in the classroom to be disruptive, but you should encourage that conversation
Yes, exactly. So a
because
big
they are
component.
curious. And if they're disruptive, why are they disruptive? Again, was it some of those things I outlined before? Is there problems at home? Are they being mistreated? Are they hungry? What is it? There is a reason for it. Absolutely. So now you have a blended family, girl of 9. Okay, you are my shero. You really are. Because it takes a certain maturity level to be a step parent.
Mhm.
I'm a step parent, had
Yeah,
great success with one, not so much with the other,
yeah,
and it happens that way. But there
yeah.
is a mutual level of respect. And I
Mhm.
know that that put you and your husband in a quandary because you're like, okay, we love each other no matter what. But how do we bring all of these other individuals into the fold to respect you, respect me, honor our union, and also incorporate other brothers and sisters? Then you got the outside influences of the ex. Girl,
Amen.
how did you grow? How did you grow into your maturity?
Oh, that is so true, April. It is so true. I had no idea how difficult it would be. I really didn't. I was very naive entering into a second relationship after my first. And, my first was the father. He was the father of all 5 of my children, and my current husband has 4. It went through waves, April. And yeah, it sounds like you went through it as well. My
Waves,
children,
girl. I went through a tornado.
I did too, a tsunami. It was like,
That's
I
right.
hear you. It would be, one liked me one day. This is my stepchildren. And then the next day they couldn't stand me. And then it was like, wait a minute, what did I do? What's going on here? So it just takes the patience. But you hit on something that we were just talking about, and that is through conversation.
Mhm.
I just kept saying, Lauren, it's not about you. Lauren, it's not about you. And try to talk to each of the children, including mine, that really had a hard time with my current husband, but now they love him. Now we're all good. Now we are one big happy family. There isn't a problem now at all. But in the beginning, it was very, very hard.
It is
I just had
because
to,
our biological children want their biological parents to be together no matter what. If it's
yeah,
unhealthy or dysfunctional, they don't see that as a child. All they
right.
see is a division. And then when you blend 2 families together, one is saying, oh, well, now you've had a baby with this person. You like that one more than me. Well, you know what, brains? Sometimes that might be true.
Yeah. I
I,
love
you know,
you.
I just keep it 100. It might be true. However, love is something like a rubber band. It continues to expand the more that you pull, the more that you tug at it,
Yes.
and then it will come back into shape and into form. What would you say to a young woman that is, has children and she's about to
Yeah.
enter into a second marriage? What would you say to her?
Oh, listen to your children, listen to
Right.
them. Don't let them be in control. Don't let them be in control, but listen to what they are saying so that they feel validated. Now, again, it doesn't mean that they are in control, but I just, in just looking back at my situation, but also knowing other circumstances and other friends,
Mhm.
it's listen to what they are saying and talk. And that was the hardest part for me, because I wouldn't listen a lot of the times, and that all they wanted, just as we were saying before, they just want to be heard. They just want to be heard. And once we started to have those conversations and a better dialogue with the help of other people, I had to go get, I was like, listen, I need some help here.
Right.
I need,
Right.
help me figure
Because
out
you
this.
know what? Children are master manipulators too.
Oh, yes, they are.
They will play you against each other. And again, you have the outside influences of other grandmas, the other, spouse, and all of that. I just say, come and be yourself. That's
Stand
what I
in your
did.
truth.
I did that. I wasn't overly pushy. I didn't, because when they came with "You're not my mama," absolutely right, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm glad is because I would probably paddle your behind right now for being smart, and snarky. But when that aha moment came with my stepson, and I went to kiss my daughter and my husband goodbye, and I give him a hug. He goes, "You're not going to kiss me, Mom?" And when he called me Mom, oh my God, I just melted.
Yeah.
And from that day on, he has never changed it. I am always his mother. And I love him. And me and his biological mother are peanut butter and jelly. We are the best of friends now.
That is so wonderful.
Well, it takes a certain maturity now because she's found a love of her own. There's no money involved. All of that emotion is extracted. And I always tell people, love a person enough to set them free.
Thank you.
That's the best thing you do, because girl, I don't want nobody don't want me. You want somebody that don't want you? I don't want
No. Yeah, we're going to be sitting around the Thanksgiving table with my husband's ex-wife. I'm going to be sitting there with her. It takes a level of maturity, and you've hit it. That is so true. You have to get over it. It's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's not. Yeah.
And when you can become partners and have a sister friend, what do they call them in these polyamorous relationships? Sister wives?
Sister wives.
I don't know if I want to be a sister wife. I'll be your sister friend, but I don't know if I'll be a sister wife.
Thank you. I'm with you on that one.
But even with that, I've got a friend that's in a polyamorous relationship, and I'm so confused. But I told her, if she likes it, I love it.
There you go.
What do you think about judgment? Now, see, people say, I don't judge. Well, I don't think that that's the truth. My judgment is based off my life experience and establishing boundaries. Yeah. That is not to say that I want to do something negative to you. I want to learn from you, but that judgment is my safety place. What do you think about judgment?
Well, I'm usually the one that says, stop judging. I'll tell my kids that too. No judgment here. Stop judging. So my outlook on judgment is, we all judge.
Yeah.
Every day we judge. I'm not judging you how you're sipping your coffee, but we do judge. We judge by looking at the TV. We judge by watching social media. Every day we are influenced by something that's going to create some judgment. But it's creating those healthy boundaries with whatever that judgment is. And just back to saying, stand in your truth and your truth will shine. Stand in your truth so you can judge the character who is maybe stepping out of bounds. But who's to say, is it really out of bounds? Right. There are some that are more obvious than others, very obvious, but it's just standing in your truth. And, gossipy judging is, that's what I'm referring to, is that, you're wasting your time. Don't sit around and gossip and judge other people like that. That's a waste of your time and energy, total waste of your time and energy. And as a matter of fact, if you're judging, this is what I usually say, if you're judging another person, it usually is about you. It's a reflection of you. It's that mirror.
What someone taught me is that when you judge someone or you harshly criticize them, those are characteristics that you actually see within yourself.
Exactly.
It is a mirror reflection. I remember the Reverend Al Sharpton telling me, he said, baby, that mirror is not just for your reflection, but it's also a place for you to make your corrections.
Love it.
And I was like, wow, that is really, really cool. So let me ask you a quick round of some random questions and see what you come up with.
Go for it.
Okay. what brings you the greatest joy? I don't want to hear about the husband. I don't want to hear about the kids. What brings Lauren the greatest joy?
Ooh, what gives me the greatest joy? If there is something that I love, that is travel. I love to travel, and that's why we host retreats, because that's where my heart is, and I love to travel.
We're going to talk about the retreats too, so put a side note on that.
Okay.
Okay. What brings you to tears?
Oh my gosh. Ask my children that and they will laugh, because I cry at the drop of a commercial. I'm a very emotional, I'm a sentimental person. So that's a pretty easy one, because I cry pretty easily, but I cry with just pure happiness. I really do. I really do. So,
And they can be tears of joy.
oh, they are tears of joy. Yes, they're mostly tears of joy than tears of, heartache, to be honest with you. I cry very easily.
What
But I
are
own
three
it.
things that you cannot live without?
Oh gosh, isn't that fun? Because I used to think I needed all these things. And
Right.
the older I'm getting and the
I
work
don't
that I'm
need.
doing, I don't need them. I don't. All I need are the relationships in my family that I cherish. That's how I feel. That's all I need.
I know I'm going through my closet right now, and I'm just looking at the news. They're having all of these smash and goes. All these people
Ah,
are running into these high-end department stores and stealing purses and shirts for what? My mother used to say, oh, you've got a $5,000 purse, but do you have $50 in it?
yeah,
No.
no.
So what is it? What is it that people find value in outside of your family? Um, where do you find solace? Where do you find your calm, your happy place?
Outside.
Outside.
Outside in nature. I do. I've discovered that more and more. I haven't watched TV and I can't tell you how long. When I
Mhm.
say that, I don't watch the news. My husband had to tell me about these smash-ins and people going and getting, all this stuff. I
Stuff.
don't I don't watch the news. I don't. It was a choice I made, I'm not even sure how I got about it. I said I'm not watching anymore. So I just don't watch TV. I get my nourishment from, not always outside, curling up with reading, but
Mhm.
mostly out in nature. When I'm out walking, it not necessarily has to be in the woods. It can be down our sidewalk, but I really enjoy being outside.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too. What is the isolation of COVID taught you about you?
Oh, it's taught me that I'm okay with me. It's taught me I'm okay with me. I really could, I am, I have no problem being alone. I have no problem sitting with me. And I actually kind of like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of fun just having a little party with yourself, a little date night, and you're
Well,
reading and you do a little journaling and
that's if you enjoy your space. A lot of
yeah,
people don't enjoy their space. A lot of people don't know how to quiet their monkey mind.
I
They
know.
don't know how to, go out and be adventurous, to
Yeah.
learn a different culture, learn a different language, eat a different
Yeah.
food, and switch the channels. Now, I was watching television. I had to pull back on it because I was binging on some of these Netflix shows. And
Mhm.
you know what I found? I found that it was making me angry and violent. They would just kill people, poop, 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 like it was nothing. And I'm like, there's no respect for human life anymore. So
Yeah.
you see that these kids that are going out on these mass shootings, they're sitting there in front of these video games. And the more people they kill, the more points they rack up. And now they're celebrated. And then they get off with murder.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. So if I had a child right now, if I was
Yeah.
bringing up a child, and I sent them over to your house
Mhm.
to be babysat,
Ooh.
what would a day with Miss Lauren be like?
What would a day be with me? Oh, it'd not be what it was before. It was the video games actually drive me crazy. And I for the longest time wanted to be an advocate about why do we have we've got to get these games out of our boys, because my boys were obsessed. They were addicted to these video games.
I was addicted to the television shows. It was like,
Oh,
it's crazy. And I was getting numb to it, and me and my husband went out to the gun range, and he was going, wow, baby. He says, you done went through a couple clips real quick. What's up with that? And I was like, usually I'm more trying to get the target and trying to be more strategic, but I was just pop, 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 and I was like, this is not me. Let me step back. Let me see what's going on in my own head, because it's so easy to
right.
be tricked up. Okay, so we're back at your house. Are we
Yes.
are we cooking? Are we coloring? Are we outside catching bugs? What are we doing?
We're doing all of that. We are doing all of that. We are playing. So it is through play where we discover so much more about ourselves.
Yep.
And when we allow ourselves to play, just like the children that we are watching, it opens up a whole new world, and they experience it, meaning the children, if you open and you're open enough to play with them. And it's so much fun. It really is. And it allows you to expand your mind. As you were saying, I've started taking Italian lessons. I'm determined to learn how to speak Italian. I don't know why.
Guitar lessons.
Oh, you are taking guitar lessons. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is.
I don't want my brain to just be a puddle of mush. No. But it's not easy learning something at 59 years old. No. You're trying to keep time and remember your finger placement and the chords and all that. It's not easy, but life is not easy.
No.
But you make it easier for people with the retreats. Tell us a little bit about the retreats that you set up.
Yes. So the Conscious 7 retreats, they're currently hosted in Italy. So we go next year, we will have 8 retreats in 2022. I just got back from planning, so we're super excited.
You're going to have 8 in Italy?
8 in Italy next year. Woo!
I want to go.
Oh, you better come. Yeah.
How long are the retreats for?
So we've set it up. The first 2 retreats are in April, and those are for 2 weeks. Then we have 6 weeks in the fall, and you can come stay for all 6 weeks, or you can come for 1 week. It doesn't matter. You choose. So we have a different, just like we're saying, it's opening and expanding your mind, because that is where you're going to find life get easier. And the beauty of it is when you're with a community. And it's what I have found over my years of hosting retreats and from the coaching and guiding that we do, it's through the communication, it's through the community that builds immunity. And it is in those conversations where I've watched the guests come as strangers. They open the door as a stranger, but they are leaving as a family. And it has happened every single time.
Every single time. So you have an intuitive gift too.
I do. For the longest time, I suppressed it. Like I was afraid to say it, or I couldn't accept it. But now, yes, I have an intuitive gift, and mine happened to come through movement. So I think of myself as a movement intuitive. So I can look at you, I can walk with you, and I can read you through your movement. So that's where my gift lies, is that I have a gift of helping people move their body, discover movement within their own. And it just is, you're right, it is an intuitive gift that I was given.
And with that, you also help people overcome self-limiting beliefs and self-doubt, because through movement, it's creativity. It's like painting. Again, it's like playing music. It's like dancing. You are expressing that creative side of you. That's where your imagination lies, brains, in the creativity. Mm-hmm. It's okay to make a mistake, but own it. Learn from it. Okay? Yeah. And also accept your accomplishments. Don't wait for other people to pat you on the back. You better pat yourself on the back and say, wow, Lauren, good job. April, good job. Ask yourself often and regularly, how can it get any better than this? And what else is possible? Yeah. There's infinite possibilities. We think so small. And I really want my brains to expand that, like we talked about, with your joints, with your movement, with a rubber band, with your family. It's about expansion.
Thank you.
It is
Yes.
about extension. And I just love being here with you. You make me feel so good all over.
You are amazing, April. I just feel so honored to be here. I feel your positive love and energy, and I just love what you're doing for all the brains out there, and just really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. And I'm going to get there. I'm just waiting for these borders in these other countries to lighten up because I don't want to get somewhere and get stuck. We were supposed to be in Italy on that brand new cruise ship when everybody got stranded. And it's calling my name. I've got the passport ready to go, brand new one. I want to fill it up with stamps. I'm coming to see you. Either if I can't get to Italy, I'm gonna drive down to North Carolina. We're gonna get a vehicle and drive across country because that's freedom too. I want to see how the other people live.
Yeah. When you step out of your box or just your own way, it expands so much. When you learn about other cultures, learn about other people's ways of living, it will help you discover a deeper and richer way of living yourself.
And it'll make you a nice person, Brains.
Yes,
you won't be afraid of, different cultures, the way they look, the way they wear their hair, all of that kind of stuff. You won't be afraid of that because you will be introduced to it in the most gentlest, kindest way, just like Lauren just did for us. So thank you. Please tell my brains how to get in contact with you if they're ready and able and willing to expand themselves on many levels and to go to a retreat. How do we find you?
We would love that. So you can start by going to conscious7.com, conscious7 with the number 7.com. You can email us at info@conscious7.com and we will get right back to you. You can also find us on Facebook. Conscious7 Coaching is our handle. So Conscious7 Coaching on Facebook.
Well, you know what? A coach is not a player. We need players, okay? We need people that are really ready to do the deep dive, do the work.
Yeah.
We're still in COVID lockdown. You don't have nothing else to do. Turn off the cotton picking TV.
I love you. I love you.
Get in there and cook for your family. Love on it. Discover who your kids really are.
Thank you.
And then look in that mirror and see that mirror reflection and make a correction. Thank you so much again, Lauren, for being here. I love you.
Love you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, Brains.
Bye.